So, round one, up against Nicolai and his Aeldari Spirit Conclave. Nicolai's a good mate of mine. We used to play at the same club. We played 10-15 games of Warhammer over the years. I've certainly had the edge in the head-to-head, I think it's fair to say. I did also play him at a tournament with Death Guardians Blood Angels, where I did some horrible things to Dardanus Handguard. So if you've read my blog in the past, or if you know me personally, that's where you know Nicolai. He's a quite well-known player in our local scene, at least. So, looking at Nicolai's list, very unconventional list for Aeldari, very heavy on the Wraiths. So the TLDR is Spirit Conclave gives some buffs to Wraith units, so they get access to the Aeldari maneuver tokens, whatever they're called. And the important thing, at least from my perspective of looking at it, is they get really easy access to -1 damage, which is also only 1 CP in shooting in 5 phase as well. Given Death Guard basically, at least in my opinion, from that stratagem, having it for 1 CP is really nice, and given a lot of my damage is 2 CP, it imposes quite a stat checky style of Eldar list, which, especially combined with the Avatar, can cause CSM some problems, albeit my list is set up in a very strong way to deal with stat checks. So go through the list. We've got Avatar, so again it's got half damage, very tanky dual piece. We have Baroth and Lycius, who give some nice utility to stuff. We have the Spirits in the Warlock, which help buff the army, give the Wraith units things like sustained in combat, and they help proc the Spirit Conclave rules. Of course, I have Void Reavers, which is a nice little chaff piece. The 3 Wraith Guard and Wraith Blade units, Rangers, Sweeping Hawks, some Spiders, and some Wraith Lords, which I'm always really impressed with whenever I see them in Eldar lists. I'm always surprised Eldar players don't run them a bit more with a bit of bulk. So in terms of what I'm looking at this list and what I'm worried about, the Spiders, the Hawks, and the characters to go with them are a pain. They're mostly something that I think I can reasonably ignore. Their damage is nice, but it's not going to blow through a whole block of Possessed. The utility stuff is just going to be annoying, but it's realistically the Avatar, the Wraith Lords, and the Wraith Blades and Guard that are going to be the problem for me. And even with that in mind, the Wraith Blades and the Wraith Guard they don't really have the volume of attacks to get through Possessed. If they came in as a 10, if you could have these 2 units together, it would be a much more scary break. Especially with 1 CP access and -1 damage, which presumably is why they've got it at a cheaper rate than Death Guard and not the other people that have access to -1 damage. So this felt like a very strong matchup for CSM. I just have to make sure that the Avatar and the Wraith Lords can't pop off. I don't want them getting into my Defilers, but I've got a lot of meat in the way between me and them, and I can potentially poke a Defiler out and lone up it. So I've just got to make sure that to use a Blood Bowl terminology, I guess, as long as I don't lose the line of scrimmage, as long as I don't get beaten up on the halfway line, then I should be fine. And again, sort of impose that trading game use my cheap resilient units to force bigger Eldar units out, and then try and take advantage of them. So that was the general game plan going into it. We have my deployment here. So, mission was Terraform, but it's not the best one to play Aeldari on typically, albeit that's more of that sort of aspect host build that has a lot of units. This is again a much more stat checky version of Eldar, which I think plays into CSM's hands quite nicely. So I had Kravik, the Terminator guy, in reserve, along with one of the Traitor Enforcers. I think this was the only mission I put anything other than Kravik in reserves, and that's just to give me a deep strike threat, and especially given how fragile some of the Eldar units are, having the ability to drop him down and threaten an Overwatch somewhere, or push if he leaves some space undefended, is really a nice option. Otherwise, we've got the 3 objectives here. Nicolai doesn't have a lot of fast moving aggressive units, so I was happy going quite light on my right flank. I have the Corsair Reavers here, I have the Cultist unit, and then I have this Rhino with Euan on friends there. It's a bit out of the way, but he's not here so much to try and get this objective as he is to go up for this objective. The worry with Eldar is that they stop you scoring, they have a very strong secondary game, and they use their sort of terraforming potential to get some rack up some points. So this is a very aggressive piece. He can't realistically get much over. He deployed these 3 at the time, so it's like, okay, defend him wide, put him here. He can come over here, sort of turn 2 or 3 if things are going wrong, or if things are going right, he can make a beeline for Eldar's objective. Otherwise, Defiler's got sort of prime positioning as places to hide. They can't be seen. If I put something here and move it up here, maybe you could have seen one of them. I don't think so. But then Low Knot protects them, so they get prime place. They've got a lot of things. Disadvantage means these possessed have to be a bit further back than I'd like. But if I go first, I'm kind of only putting these guys out in the middle, so I'm giving up the chance to do any terraforms and things to keep Warfly, a lot of stuff safe alive. Over here, given the position of this objective, it's quite hard to getting shooting angles on. I had to sort of come here and come here to get the line over here. So we've got Tracing Forces to come and be a pain. We've got Possessed to come and be a much more aggressive second wave if Nicolai responds hard. And if anything comes out to get them, then the Defilers and these Possessed can come over to counter-attack. So that was the general basic plan. For Nicolai's deployment, you see he's got his 3 Wraiths over here and the Avatar here. So he's going quite hard at the centre, is the sort of my takeaway for this. He's got some Spiders here to defend his home. He has Lycus and her Warp Spider in reserve, and then he's got a couple of Wraith units scattered about. So from my point of view, this is generally quite a good thing. There's quite a lot of stuff here to brawl in the middle. I feel I'm going to win any brawl, so getting into that sort of fight is alright with me. He's got a lot of units here which become tricky for me to score, but equally he doesn't have much that can test here, so I can try and be aggressive on this flank, pressure this flank, pressure the middle, and I should at some point pay dividends, and that was the basic claim plan going into it. So what we have here is a picture at the end of my turn 1, but Nicolai did go first. Turn was rather unremarkable. Staged himself, did some terraform, and he moved these guys here for I think Arid and Island terraform or something like that. Just a nice setup turn, not much aggression. My turn, again, played it quite slow. These guys moved up again, so I can come up and try and pressure here. I don't think Nicolai has any way to get here, so I can take the fight. And you can just see over here, some cultists move up to terraform and sticky the objective and things like that. Send forward both my, I kept calling them my traitor guard commanders. Can't remember what their name is off the top of my head. Traitor Enforcers, that's the one. So they charge here. They get a little bit of shooting from Rhino Assist as well. Just try and deny the point. And they come right over here to make it as awkward as possible for the Wraith Blades to heroic. They end up trying to. They fail. They don't waste another CP trying to reroll or anything to get in. So I don't think I kill the Voice Guard, but I take the objective. These guys come here. Rangers move back. It's a pain. They fail their charge as a result. But they're still annoying. Eldar still have to deal with these. And again, because they're toughness 6, because they're feeling the pain, they've got a little bit of an invuln as well. And the low knot means they've got to come deal with them and get up close and personal, or at least feel that they do. Especially, which is good from my point of view, especially as I've got Possessed and Cypher all here ready to come in and attack next turn whilst being pretty safe. Eldar realistically closing this gap from here to come and get me, and their sort of monsters and vehicles are over here. So, good spot for CSM. On the right flank, cultists just move up here. These guys move up, as I said, and Rhino positions here so we can come to it. It isn't a position where like a Wraith Lord or 2 can come over and see it, but if they pop the Rhino, it means that they are exposed for the hit back, and it also means that these guys can sort of disembark, come up. And so I've got lots of stuff here. This objective is very safe. I can in a position to stage quite aggressively towards Eldar's objective, and I've got committed quite lightly on the other flanks, which should hopefully force some difficult decisions for Eldar. I just took an ice cream break, which is why I thought I pressed pause on the recording that I hadn't, so sorry about that. Yes. So, Eldar turn 2, this is the position going into it that they are in. Lots of stuff sort of ready to go, but there's not much of me to get, and what I have got is quite heavily defended. Or quite tough to do. So, Eldar make the decision to descend, and they start moving up on the left flank. Again, they don't have any easy way to take these guys out. The Wraith Lords can't see him. I can't remember if this could move over here and see them, but then it starts load ops, things being arranged, and we're only putting 2 last cannon shots into things with like an invad and a field of pain. So they make the move to be aggressive and move the blades out to make sure they kill my traitor enforcers, which again is a really big overcommittal to have to take care of quite a cheap unit. Again, over on the right, Eldar have got nothing that can come and get over to my flank, so it's going to be battle over these 2 objectives at least at this point. So I've got this charge isn't unreasonable, but I decided just to try and really throw maximum pressure on Eldar's home objective. I rapid ingress Morn, and what this does is Morn should come over here, pick up a Spirit Seer and the Warp Talon Squad, so I can just send Morn here. I end up putting the Reavers over here as well, over there as well. Just in case he low rolls or gets overwatched and takes more damage than I'd like. But what putting more on over here does is, in addition to the immediate pressure, it also frees up this unit to go into the middle with Huron, so it keeps my resources free. Over back on my left flank, Nicolai, Uppy Downies, the Hawks, and I've forgotten their name, Baroth. To come out, and again, just putting more stuff here. He also drawn no prisoners this turn, so he takes the chance to come over here, kill these guys, put some pressure on this objective as well. This is sticky, so I'm not too worried about it. They do pick up all the cultists, but it's already stickied. I've got Possessed nearby to come and counterstack, and I've also got Defilers and this stuff here as well. So, sorry to go back and forth. Blades make their charge in here, so there is quite a lot of stuff over here now, and I'm not quite sure how my shooting is going to go. So I moved the Possessed up from behind this wall over here, and they're spread out sort of quite deliberately to give me flexibility. I have Defilers that can come and see some of the stuff here, and I want to keep the options open to see how the shooting goes, because Defilers shooting is very, very powerful. But it's not a massive amount of shots, and I want to sort of secure myself from rolling a bunch of 2s at the wrong time, rolling 1 on a number of plasma shots or something, and just not do anything. So these guys come out. If my shooting goes really well, and I pick up these 3 units, the Wraith Lord, Blades, and the Swooping Hawks, then they can make a slightly larger charge into the Rangers. If the shooting goes badly, then they can play more of an insurance role and try and take out whichever unit high rolled, low rolled their saves to stay alive. In the middle, Wraiths come out. I move and Possessed. Huron and friends come up to stage to protect them here. They do get Overwatch. I lose a couple. Cypher comes up to tax the Overwatch, force some CP usage out to Eldar. Kravik moves up. He's about to burn this poor Spirit Seer to death. And then these guys come in to charge and take Eldar's home objective. It does expose sort of this stuff to the Lords and the Avatar. But if they come back to deal with these guys, then the 10 Possessed are just going to be unopposed in the middle. So they try and leave Eldar in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Yeah, it's another picture of the right thing. Cultists move up, trying to get as many bodies on as possible. Rhino toes back onto here as well. This is sticky, but it does mean that if, say, Lycus and friends want to deep strike and shoot these guys to death somehow, there's still something else on the objective for them to deal with. They have to come in and get close. So, we're back on the left flank here. I've got 2 Defilers out of shot here. they roll pretty well. We take out the Wraith Lord was here. We take out the Swooping Hawks that were here in Baroth. We do a bit worse into the Wraith Blades. We've got 10 possessed, so I charge the Rangers to make sure that they get the objective, and then charge the Blades to try and take them out. And we do the same here going into the Wraith Guard. I might have got these two the wrong way round, but in terms of names. But yeah, putting lots of pressure on Eldar units and trying to really take out some of their toughest units. Devs have access to, possessed have access to Dev wounds, so they both pop them off here. I re-roll, I think, in the middle to try and make maximum usage of it. And while I don't kill both, I kill, I think, all of this squad, kill the Rangers, and the one, my possessed here, leave these guys down as a threat, but nothing more. Remove them as a threat, but nothing more than that, more than a sort of couple of bodies here. So that's very handy. So yeah, end of combat. These guys are deleted. One of the wraiths with the axes survives, and yeah, it also means it stops the Eldar advance here. It puts pressure on here. We've obviously got this objective. It forces the Avatar and the Wraith Lords out. I've still got my Defilers hidden away. Yeah, actually, no way for the things to be seen. The other thing is the Possessed move quite deliberately to sort of block this area. The Avatar and the Wraith can't get out here. They can potentially come around and charge here, but it means the Defilers can come out and shoot them next turn, so there's no way for Eldar to survive my next hit back, or hide from, at least. So, yeah, sadly for the Possessed, they get shot up a bit here. But even then, they don't get taken out on Eldar outside. You know, we've got an Avatar and a Wraith Lord, we've got to charge in. And this one ends up going this way to deal with it, trying to start dealing with these Possessed. Because, you know, Eldar are in professional places. They also completely give up their home objective, apart from Lycus and Water Spiders. There are too many wounds for them to chew through here, but they do just pick up more than one volley of their shooting, and they can't stop me being on the objective. It means I get a really big early primary swing, but they at least have some threat back there. So this is the position going into fight phase, just after the charges. Avatar and the Wraith Lord comes into the middle, and these guys come over here. Possessed here, they get essentially taken out. I think one or two of them survive, including, crucially, this guy's able to fight. So yes, I think Wraith Lord kills these three. These three survive. This guy is not based, so he comes out here and gets a cheeky kill of the Spirits here, despite it not being in combat, which is very handy. They don't do much damage to the Wraith bricks when I don't have access to rerolls and devs, and I'm saving my CP for other things at this stage. So just take what we can, take a unit out for Eldar, make it harder for them. In the middle, they take out a bunch of this unit. The Avatar does smash pretty hard. He does bounce off a couple of invuns, and I keep these two alive until for as long as possible, which means that they can't pile into this onto this objective, which means start of Chaos turn, I get this objective, I get my home objective, I get the objective over here, and I get Nicolai's home objective, so we get a really strong early primary swing. So yeah, reverse shot from essentially the Eldar deployment zone, just looking at their position. So they've got nothing reserved, they're committed, and they're behind us, so it's a really good early position for CSM. So CSM have a really, really brutal turn here. The game was in our favour anyway, but this is the turn that we went from, oh, we're in a good spot, to, oh, we've won the game. The Defilers move up, they come around here and here, and the first one alone blows away the Avatar. It's just very powerful. Lance cannons popped off. It was one of those lovely, oh, I've got 4 shots with lance cannons, I've hit you 7 times, you've taken, it's only like 4 wounds or something, but you failed all of them even with a reroll. Here's a bunch of damage, even halved it was a lot, and then just a way to kill them. So shot the Avatar to death. The second one, which was not quite as far forward, shot the Wraith Lord to death. immediately taking out anything, and then we charged the last one here. Our shooting had one of the really nice problems where we shot so much we sort of running out of charge targets, so Master of the Maelstrom came in, and then because we'd killed the Avatar that was here, they then tried to get into the Wraith Lord that was over here, and like the Cruty guy and one shot they could get in rather than any of the impactful ones because they were already trying to smash the Avatar. But if that's the case, it's going very well, and I'm not going to complain about doing too much damage realistically. So yeah, CSM really firmly entrenched on the middle. Even if Eldar did have something threatening, I could potentially move Huron's unit back into the Rhino with reactive move. Interesting thing on the right flank, we've given up a lot of our power here. I elect not to move these guys because at this stage, in terms of just like the attrition war, I've won it so decisively. I am up on primary, and the only way I lose the game from here is Eldar chipping away at secondaries and things, finding some ways to deny my primary and sort of scam me into some places. So my priorities changed from a damage thing to a let's score what points we can phase. And I just don't move these guys, I don't give them a chance to overwatch. I force them to have to commit either here or here next turn and terraform, so we're going to keep a trickle of points going. It's not realistic that I'm going to lose the game at this stage, but it just sort of slams the door on we're not going to give Eldar any chance to get back into this. Whatever these guys do, I'm either going to be scoring points, I'm going to be scoring points here or here, and it's not giving them any chance to come back on damage. These guys probably can take an overwatch to the face from spiders and kill most of them, but again, just doesn't give me the chance to them the chance to scam me on anything. So yeah, this is Eldar's position going thing. They've got a couple of units here, and they've got Lycus' unit, so turns absolutely shot by at this stage. Eldar have one more turn here. They fall back, shoot, possessed. So this is on the left flank, and then Defilers come and just clean up everything that's left on this flank. So Lycus' unit comes over, moves here. They decide to leave these guys. They get something like Overwhelming Force and Storm, so they have quite a good term in terms of points. They come over, they burn my cultists here. Again, as I'm playing around like a worst case scenario at this point, rather than worrying what's going wrong, what could go wrong, worrying about anything else. Huron's unit jumps back in the Rhino, so Lycus and things can't shoot them. Moves over, sits on the objective. I've got last turn scoring, so I can make sure these guys jump out and get on the objective anyway. I don't need to put them in any danger. Reaver's on the Eldar's home objective, they just stay there, and I think we score behind enemy lines or something, so keep the points racking over. And then Lycus' final turn. Eldar, kill Rhino, ice around them. Just in case I have the worst combat thing ever, and I've got 1 million OC on there. And rather unsurprisingly, Lycus and the Warp Spider die. So ended up being a very comfortable win for CSM, winning 93-52. Terraform points did quite well for Aeldari. Their secondary game was very strong as well, comparatively. But CSM just absolutely bossed attrition in primary, and as you tend to with these things, even though my secondaries were no more than sort of passable, the fact that we were so ahead everywhere else just meant it was quite relaxing. You can also probably see with some of these more zoomed in pictures why I've never won any painting awards, and while some of these models are very old and were painted quite a long time ago, my standing of painting isn't great, so don't expect any horrors. So yeah, really good win for CSM, kind of everything went to plan, and so moved on to round 2.